Greetings once again. We meet to begin our learnings going forward. So, learnings which are earmarked for today's session basically involve working with BotInsight, understanding what BotInsight and the analytics capabilities of our software are all about. So, if you can see my screen, I'm currently logged on into a amazing instance because the feature that we are going to be going and dealing with today is available on the cloud only. It's not something that we are supporting off the cloud or something which is possible for that reason to showcase on my system as such. So first and foremost, the requirement for this feature, as we had discussed earlier, also is to be able to have this BotInsight application installed in your system. And once you have the same, then you need to go inside your web control room, go inside the application management area, and register that application by choosing analytics and providing the part of the BotInsight installation on that particular instance. So once you have configured this, the first merit, the first benefit of this would be that we would be able to understand, that what are our bots which are working, how many, bots we were able to go and, create within a time period. If you go inside your operations, let me just go and log in over here real quick. So there are two kind of analytics which will be available to us as a result of the integration that we have done. The first one is operational analytics, which helps us understand the various aspects from the operations perspective. So if you go inside your operations room, you can see over here under operational analytics, we will get to see, this dashboard, which gives an idea of how many bots we were able to upload inside of WebCR, how many new users were added into this particular system, how many total bot runs we were able to get. You can always go and then expand these. You can go and change the chart style over here. You can maybe bring in a bar in case that helps you understand things better. Obviously, we do say that an image is worth 1,000 words, so there's a reason behind it. So here again you can see the timeline. So I can go and give the start date and end date between which I wish to see this data at hand. So that is just one aspect, that is looking at this figure, these statistics from operations point of view. Here you can see various things that we can do. We can export this particular chart for that reason into a PDF or Excel. You can set up your rulers over here. You can set the colors and schematics. You can set up sorting and set up limits over here. So we can do that. That is possible. And also you can go and set up filters. So you can specify filters if you wish to. You can add new filters. So these are things that are possible to do over here. And should you then want to go back to the original state, you can just go and bring it down so that it's back to its original state. So you can see various traits of operations have been captured over here, which we are currently viewing inside this operational analytics dashboard in which we are currently at the moment. So this is one kind of data that we are seeing, which helps us understand things from the perspective of operations in a analytics format. The other analytics which this application management registering and saving that we did with the analytics keyword of our URL of the BotInsight application that we would have installed on the system is about transactional analytics. So for that enablement and to view data from our transactions that we create, we have to go inside our good old development client. And here you can see I have this analytics app task that I've created, And once you have done the integration of the analytics with the WebCR, we will further get to see this analytics uh, tab under the property section. And in case you wanted to enable analytics for this particular task, you have to put a check mark over here so that this task then becomes eligible for a transactional analytics dashboard displays. Now if I go inside this task, so this task is basically reading some information from a text document, basically a document containing various large amounts of data. So this is a document containing some bank transaction details like account number, customer name, customer category. So you can see it's a very huge file. It's about some 8 MBs of data which we are currently using for this. So the software is going to go and run through this data and do some processing. Now there are certain key factors. For example, what I wanted to do is from this particular data, I was maybe interested in a few numbers. Maybe I was interested in account number, and maybe we were interested in the average transaction amount which we have over here, average transaction time and average transaction time over which you can see, and transaction cost. Maybe you want to also go and take up your transaction amount, transaction cost over here. So whatever fields, actually, transaction cost is over here, and so transaction cost and your other fields that we had specified, we can go and specify that which fields lie within our area of interest. Let me see if I can open this thing in a format which is, maybe I'll open it over here. Does this support? So these are, if you can see, account number, customer name, customer category, customer country, transaction amount. So these are the fields that we have, and we have specified certain fields that we are interested in depending on what lies our area of interest in. And once you specify those fields which you want to earmark for analytics visualization, so for those particular fields, obviously we will have to create variables, and those variables we will go and specify that we will be logging these variables for analytics. So that is how the software starts going and capturing the information from these variables in a analytics format. That is how things further happen. So once you have gone and run this script, and the information has, so every time, with every churn, with every run, the data would be refreshed. These variables would be recalculated, recalibrated, and then you can go and click on analyze. And once you've clicked on analyze, it will this is basically our BotInsight application. This is the URL which we need to actually supply over here. So once this opens, you will have to give in the credentials that we need to log in into this particular area of our application. Like I said, it is currently only supported on the cloud premises, and you log in and you are getting your data. Now this data is basically what we refer to as transactional analytics, because it is the data that has come out of the transactions that we are performing over our data using these variables which we have earmarked for analytics logging. So that is basically what we are seeing over here at the moment. So again, what we did earlier is possible to do here also. You can go and take up any chart that lies within your area of interest. So I've taken this small section. I can click on this. You can see, gives me the ability to zoom this. You can set up filters. You can look at details. So if I click on details, it's giving me the time range, the volume of transaction, average transaction, all these things it shows me over here. If you want, you can save this particular chart as a separate graph. So maybe you have different teams which are having different areas of interest. So I can go and modify this chart as per the requirement of a particular group of people. I can save it as a separate entity after making the required modifications as per their requirement, and then I can publish this, so that different groups of people may be looking at the same data from different perspectives. So we have the capability to go and make those required changes over here and then publish that data. That thing is supported by the software. Also, if you look, there is something on the data profile which gives you some statistical numbers of our variables which we had earmarked for analytics. So we had earmarked these three variables for analytics, which were also involved in churning of our data. So those variables, obviously, it is specifying that what is the data type over here. It is giving you some ranges like minimum, maximum of those numbers. You can see the average value is this one. The sum you can see is a huge number over here. The transaction cost, the sum of the transaction cost, like I said, it's a bank data about some 8 MBs of data which currently we are processing at the moment, just to give you a fair idea about the capability of the software. And you can see a big number getting generated over here. Of course, in more practical applications or areas that one might be using, these figures may go up higher. So that is something about analytics that we are currently viewing over here, seeing over here. And so basically what we have over here is, when I talk about analytics, we have two categories of users over here which will be responsible for this. If I go inside my security, I can see there are two roles. One is the consumers and one is the expert. So the person who's going to go and make this script and do all these variables mapping and things like that, that person is going to be our analytics expert. He is going to be designing the script so that these pieces of information can be churned out. The second person is going to be the person who is going to be looking at this dashboard and drawing some inferences from it. Could be your operations, could be your management team, basically people with some analytics bent who can understand, interpret this data and take some decisions on top of it. So accordingly, permissions are assigned. So when you are creating a role, when you're creating a user, you have to assign them these roles also, so that they can do the needful over there. So this was just to give us a quick idea about the capabilities of BotInsight, which is basically our foray into analytics, which like I said is again into two broad sections. One is the operational analytics, which allows us to look at our data from operations point of view. The other is from the transaction point of view, which requires going and creating scripts, mapping variables to log analytics data, and then going and analyzing those dashboards which get created as a result of these activities. So that was something which we wanted to go and quickly get ourselves on board. So this is our BotInsight, or what we refer to as analytics, part of our application, which we wanted to quickly get ourselves familiarized with. Like I said, a lot of capabilities over here which you can use. You have the capability of setting up filters, saving, publishing, looking at data from different charts point of view, and things typically associated with analytics dashboards, generally speaking. So that was something about BotInsight in a nutshell. So until our next learning, thank you.